Hello, playful eco warriors, and welcome to another episode of Climate for Fun, the podcast that turns climate change into a laughing matter. Here's Antonio Salituro, climate scientist, writer, and comedian. I'm thrilled to have Rachel Emms with me today. Rachel is senior lecturer and program leader for performing arts at the University of Sunderland. Welcome, Rachel, and thanks for joining me.
Hi, Antonio. You're welcome. Great to be here.
Thanks a lot. You ready to laugh at climate change as much as we can?
I'll definitely try my best.
Well, it's good. So, let's crack on with some question then, if you're happy with that.
Yeah.
Cool. So, Rachel, you are from Sunderland, yeah? Born and bred, I'm assuming.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. So, like many other cities in the UK, Sunderland is aiming to become carbon neutral ASAP. Well, I'm not going to explain what carbon neutral is at the moment, but because of this, a popular event like the Sunderland Air Show has been cancelled. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So someone might argue that air shows are a form of art. Please tell me you're not one of them. And just be honest, as this podcast is 100% inclusive, I just won't air this show if you are.
Yeah.
No, seriously, what's your view on that?
Well, I mean, the air show in its time attracted people from all over the world, so in that respect was bringing people to the region, and in that respect, increasing the carbon footprint for even people getting here before the air show even took place, really. And I suppose whilst it was quite a nice event to look at, because I lived there, and actually I lived on the seafront where it all took place, the secondary kind of problem with the air show was that people would leave all of their litter, like plastics and everything, sort of on the beach and on the cliffs. And because I lived there, that really impacted the seafront, where a lot of people choose to go for a walk and things like that. So it wasn't great for many reasons, and I think Sunderland, because we are on a coast, I think the coast itself is beautiful. There's many things to look at that are just carbon neutral completely, so I think it's a great idea moving forward.
Cool. I agree. I totally agree, to be honest. And so I like earth damaging air shows. There are other down-to-earth forms of art that can help people's climate action take off. So like the EcoBods project you're developing at the University of Sunderland. So could you please tell me a bit more about that?
Yeah, so EcoBods is part of a wider project. The project is called Learning Bods, and the word bods is to do with the use of the body as a primary communicator. So we've done number bods, which was about maths, science bods, about science, and healthy bods, which was about PHSE, so good relationships, healthy relationships, physical and mental health. So this year, because the university has a sustainability agenda as a priority, we decided to do EcoBods. So we looked at the curriculum for Key Stage 1, and it looks at reuse, recycle, repurpose, saving energy. So they are the areas that the schools look at. So the whole project begins in September with a group of 11 students, and we create a number of theatrical short pieces which come together to address those different areas of the curriculum. So, for example, the whole piece begins with the students dancing. They say they're at the beach and everything, and they're dancing, and they're using plastic bottles and having a drink. And then at the end of the song, we have blue material which represents the sea, and all of the bottles go into the sea. So then at the end of the dance, they come forward to the children and say, "Oh wow, like that was a really great time at the beach, but look at all the bottles in the sea. What do you think the sea creatures might think about this?" And then the students come forward with puppets on. So we have a fish, a turtle, and a penguin, and the puppets kind of come through the sea, and they explain to the children about the 600 wildlife species that are at risk from the things that people put into the sea, really. And it's because the puppets talk directly to the children kind of take that on board, I think, more than their teachers talking to them. I suppose it's more fun. Other parts, we also have a picnic scene where the children, the performers are having a picnic, and they throw all their rubbish, lots and lots of rubbish all over the place. And again, we sort of talk about, why you can't just leave rubbish behind like this, because, for example, you could reuse this and you could recycle this, and then we'll get the recycle bins out, and then the students talk about the different kinds of recycling you can do. including you can recycle clothes. So we do a rock and roll dance about how we might enjoy swapping clothes with our friends, and we might go to charity shops or make a blanket for a cat out of a shirt or whatever. So we give lots of different examples. We invite the children to think of examples as well. And we also talk about how they could grow their own food. So one of the bins is to put food waste in, and we talk about, well, how could we use less waste, create less waste, and we'll talk about the different things that you could plant. And we also talk about the kinds of toys that the children might have in the house, and how a lot of them do use electricity and batteries, and the impact of that really, and how you must be saving energy and be considerate of the energy in your home. And throughout the performance, the children, it's very interactive, so they're invited to get up and join the performers and give their ideas and do practical activities. So it's a really fun activity, and the children, it's a different way for them to learn, I think.
Yeah, sounds fun, to be honest. Yeah, I wish I could do it. I wish I would have done it when I was, that age. Okay, cool. That's a lot. That's a lot to take on as well for them. Anyway, so well, you mentioned the body, the use of body. So being Italian, body language is a key component of my communication style. So, and that's not me. Like if a friend of mine once grabbed my hands while talking, and I find myself unable to speak properly. To be honest, honestly. I swear. Even now, you can't see me now but I'm moving my hands a lot, So anyway, would you say that some body movements work better than others? I mean, is there a special, tactic, in that?
Well, I think body language can be universal, and I think because my specialism is dance, so my background was in dance, my degree is in dance. So I've studied the body and the potential of the body as a communicator. And obviously in the 60s and 70s, a lot of choreographers and dance practitioners started to move away from more technical styles of dance and moving more into exploring how the body can communicate and what that might mean. So what it might mean if two people are close together or far apart or making contact with each other, and what do different gestures and actions mean, and how do they communicate. So I suppose in the 80s, that's mainly what dance practitioners did start to explore, and it allows students, rather than having to be trained with a specific background, to be able to use their bodies in a way that's comfortable and effective. I mean, there are some very literal things, like you can make your body into the shape of a number, and you can make your body into the shape of a letter, and you can make your body into a fish and things like that. So there's all of those things. But then you can also show an emotion through using your body, and make a relationship clear through using your body. And I think for the children, certainly in the projects that I work on, they understand that. They understand that humanity. And I think where there's humanity, there's learning to take place. And I think the body is accessible for everyone, because we all have a body, therefore we can communicate using it, and and hopefully that opens the projects up to children who maybe are neurodiverse, or have difficulty hearing and things like that.
Cool.
It makes it all very accessible.
No, makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
And
being a dancer myself, I'm actually thinking about this, because I dance Latin dance, but I don't know how this can be used as for environmental purpose. I'll think about it though. Might be one of my next episodes. Let's see. So as part of you said, well, mostly dancing, I guess music as well. But these students perform any comedy sketches too, and if not, if something you're consider doing in the future at all?
The students they do learn comedy. We have a comedian who comes in and works with them, and he shows them different approaches to creating comedy. And I think what we tend to find is the funniest students are the students you would not expect to be funny. It's often quite quiet students who are quite reserved, but the comedian, the way in that he gives them is just to pick an object in the room and start talking about it. And I remember one student picked some dust on the floor and started talking about the dust on the floor and made this whole comedy sketch about it. And so I think students do use comedy as a vehicle, and I think they also use comedy as a vehicle to address more serious topics within their work as well, because I think comedy like the body, is a fantastic communicator. You know, it gives us, it allows us to laugh at ourselves. And I think that relatability to do with anything is really good. And I think some students are really very good at it. I think comedy's hard, but I think the students are very good at it. So when we use the puppets in the performances, the puppets are comedic by nature. They have funny voices and they do funny things and they say funny things. And that's allowed because they're puppets. So the children accept that, you know, they accept that they're silly and they're funny.
Yeah, obviously. Makes sense. Yeah, I mean, making people laugh is difficult, especially when you talk about climate change or, you know, environment.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's an art, you know. Okay.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. So based on your project, I mean, is it the first time you run the project, or you've done it before? I mean,
so this is the first time we've done sustainability. We did Healthy Bods last year, in particular because of the pandemic, because we felt, and the schools also felt, that the children had their mental health had declined somewhat, and they hadn't been able to form physical relationships and in the way that they would have done, because they're obviously very young. They're only sort of 5 and 6, the children who are involved in the project. So so this year we chose sustainability and eco-bods because we felt, again, it's so important for children at an early age to know what you need to do and what you need to teach your parents to do, I think, because I think they learn from their parents bad habits. You know, they do learn bad habits and they learn not to recycle. And I think they need to just know easy ways to be able to do it. So one of the aspects of the project is we take some plastic bottles and we'll play a game where you put the bottle over your head and under your legs and over your head and under your legs in a line, and then you run and you put it in a bin, in the recycling bin. And I think because the children are having fun doing the activity of putting the thing in the bin, it's the learning is more likely to be solidified, so they'll remember doing that. You know, when they have to get up and join in with the tidying up, and then they have to find which bin does a paper plate go in and which bin does a piece of cloth go in, they remember it because it's active. So this project is probably something that we will repeat because it is so relevant as well.
Okay. So basically, he's been ongoing. Yeah. I mean, he's ongoing, the project.
Yeah.
I understand.
It is, yeah.
So can you tell? Is there any specific performance or topic that children are more engaged with?
I think the children, because it's a theatrical production, I think they engage with it just by the nature of us being different people coming into their environment. So because we go into the school hall, which is usually a place where they have assembly or school dinners, it's different. It's an interactive performance. So I think the answer probably is, for different children, yes, they will engage with different things. But the most notable thing from the teachers is that the children who are perhaps lower achievers, who are not meeting targets, younger children maybe who are not on track for learning, they do engage with this kind of thing. They engage better because it's live and it's interactive. So children who might not be able to concentrate in a classroom can concentrate more readily in an environment like this.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm thinking about, I don't know, children on the spectrum, you know, autistic spectrum, perhaps, you know, that could be a vehicle to, you know, to focus, to help them focus.
It has been a vehicle, and we do have we have had a few neurodiverse children who've taken part, and following the performance we do a workshop as well. So at the end of the performance, the children get up and they do some physical activities with us, and we have in particular had neurodiverse children who've been able to access the activities that we've offered. It may be children that haven't been able to access the drier activities that happen in a classroom, so they have been able to engage with us, making it more meaningful.
That sounds good. So I mean, other than children, your climate-friendly efforts are helping out other students as well. So I'm aware your musical theater students are up for a sustainability challenge. So my understanding is that they should prepare a sort of zero waste performance. Let's say, I don't know, I'm probably simplifying it. I don't know. This sounds very good, but it's definitely not child play. So how will they achieve that?
So for musical theatre, it is by nature quite an expensive event to host because we have to hire a venue and we have to buy the rights for production. We do have a budget, but what we try to say to the students is, despite having a budget, that a budget doesn't mean buy things a budget can be there to use if you need it, but what we encourage the students to do is reuse, is resource things in a way that you're finding them from people that you know, or going on social media and trying to find something, or going into a charity shop, or making something into something else. And I think it's a slow process, because I think our students are so used to being able to just click and go on Amazon and buy
Yeah.
But actually, I think if they take the time to just go for a walk outside and look at a few charity shops, what they'll find is you can resource things that have been used and love things again. And I think that's something to be really proud of, to make a zero waste performance. So this year we've really tried. We haven't had to buy a lot of things, but the students have been introduced to the idea that whatever you try and look for, somebody somewhere will have that thing. You know, if you say, I'm going to pick anything here, just say a red sparkly hat. And what they would do is straight away go and look on Amazon for a red sparkly hat. What we would say about that is, but what you have to do there is you have to order that hat, pay for it. It has to be delivered in some way, which is increasing your carbon footprint. Then it's probably never going to be used again. So is it then going to be thrown in the bin? So what we would encourage them to do is use whatever means you have to try and acquire that thing, by not having to drive it anywhere, by not having to use any new materials to make it. So to try and just find someone who's got that thing, and that is what we've tried to do. And I think the students that's the way they're thinking now. They're thinking much more like that, and they're thinking about going into charity shops and trying to reuse all sorts of things, furniture and clothes.
Yeah, I think buying second-hand, and do yourself practices are so easy and probably fun as well.
It is really fun, and I think the challenge that we do with them, we offer them a prize. So we say the person who can get all of the things, we give them a budget of £10, and we say you've got to get all these things, but usually they get all of the things for nothing. And the prize is the person who can get everything for the least amount of money gets a cake, and they get to sit in a nice chair all day. So it's not a prize that we go out and really it's not elaborate, but it's fun, and it makes all of the other students treat them like a princess for a day sort of thing, or a king for a day, and it's really fun.
That's cool.
And
that's
memorable.
Cool. Yeah, cakes always work, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Okay, so all right, more like a parent. So when we're thinking about dance and music, so is there any eco song that you like in particular that you can think of, like an environmental inspired song?
Yeah, there is.
Sorry?
Yeah, there is a song, and I hope you know it. There is a song that I like, and I hope you know it. It's called Dragonfly by Ziggy Marley.
Dragonfly. I probably, I'm not good with titles, but I'll Google it. I mean, I'll look it up.
Yeah, Google it, because
Dragonfly.
The words of the song talk about a bee, and they sort of say like something about, hi little bee, you've been here forever and you just keep on moving forward. And I think the reference sort of is to the fact that bees have been here forever, and they're really only doing good. They're just doing good things, and I suppose what it's making us think is we should be more like bees, and we should just do what we need to do, and keep things moving forward in a more earth-friendly way, really. So that's what the song. But listen to it. It's a lovely song. It's really nice.
I'll check it out. Thanks. Honestly, I'll probably heard it, but I can't remember the title. Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Thanks. So I know you're also a freelance artist. I mean, I don't know if you're still doing it, but so would you be, just a random question? Would you be pissed off if one of your students was to interrupt your dance performance to raise climate awareness? I mean, you know that nowadays there is a lot going on in terms of climate protests and stuff. So
there is. I mean, I think peaceful protest definitely has a place. I think it's a difficult one to answer, because within the context of the university, if a student was being assessed on a performance and then another student interrupted that would be problematic. However, in my own personal work, if I was doing some work and some kind of meaningful message was put across to new ears, I suppose, I think I would feel okay about that. I think, I think protest, there has to be a place for protest, and I think it's meant to be memorable. And I think anything that interrupts anything else that can be memorable, it's the memorability that makes it stick with people, isn't it? So it would get people talking about it, and I think that's really good.
Cool. Yeah, makes sense to me, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so now a bit more weird question. So, if you could tell me one thing about climate change that makes you laugh, I know it's difficult, but can you
Do you
think of
know?
anything?
Yeah, when I was thinking about this, it's a really hard one, and I think do you know what my answer is going to be? This I
Okay.
love Ricky Gervais. Well, I love live comedy. I go to see a lot of live comedy, and
Yeah.
I know that Ricky Gervais at the minute is working on a new tour called Armageddon, and I think it has a lot of reference to climate change. And what I would say is the way that he addresses really important matters, that makes me laugh. So I don't know whether
Oh,
that's
really?
answer, but I think the way that he can take a really serious issue
Yeah.
and you know, expose it in a comedic way and
Yeah.
make us think about it. I think anything that makes us think and makes us laugh at the same time
Yeah.
is meaningful. Yeah. So I think all of those things really. But I also quite like the way that climate change is portrayed, I suppose, in children's cartoons and things like that. That's
Yeah.
quite amusing, you know, when it'll show like icebergs melting away and things like that. And I think
Yeah.
all of that for a child, you know, is really relevant. I think is very cute and well considered by whoever is making this content. Yeah.
Okay, cool. What's the name of the comedian you mentioned again?
Ricky Gervais.
Oh, yeah, yeah, of course, I know it.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
his new tour is called Armageddon, so I would quite like to see that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I didn't know it was. So it's a piece of the, global warming, I guess. Yeah,
It
I'm
is.
assuming.
It's about climate change. Yeah.
Okay,
And
cool. Interesting.
yeah,
Interesting. Right,
yeah.
cool. Nice. Okay, so now tell me one fun thing people can do to fight climate change. I guess ecobots is not allowed as an answer though.
Okay. Do you know what? I think a really fun thing that people can do and should do is just walk instead of going out in their cars, because it's really
Yeah,
fun.
that's
You
true.
know, I think the repetition in nature and the beautiful country here that we have available to us is just not. I think some people spend too much time on public transport, in cars and things like that. I mean, it's not a
Yeah,
massive country, and I think if people just allowed themselves a bit more time,
I
I
agree.
think walking places is just fun. It's just
Yeah.
lovely, and it opens your mind, and it's great for your mental health, and I think that's really important. And I think it obviously saves money as well, saves money on
Yeah,
petrol.
yeah, that's true.
And
I
that's
agree.
fun,
I agree.
because then we can buy more cakes, don't
Yeah,
we?
yeah, yeah. So can you come up? That's tricky, yeah. I know you're not a stand-up comedian, but can you come up with a joke about climate change or
Oh,
a similar joke? Like if you,
I don't know.
if you can't think of
No,
anything, it's all right. Don't.
I
But
can't think of anything, but when I finish doing this, I will definitely try and think of one and email it to you.
okay, that's good. Yeah, I'll mention the next
I'll have a think
episode.
about that.
I'll mention the next episode. And refer to you. Yeah, okay. That's it. That's a
Yeah.
challenge. That's a homework for you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my homework. I'll definitely do that. Yeah.
All right. So, well, you can't escape my quiz, though.
Okay.
I put together a who wants to be climate aware, edition of
Okay.
my quiz. So it's 3 question. You got it's a multiple choice answer, so you got 3 options for each question.
Oh, I hope I won't be
Yeah,
rubbish.
you ready for that? It's all right. It's all right. I'm sure you will be fine.
Well, I'll give
Okay.
it a go.
Yeah, of course. That's good. Okay, so first question. How many CO2 emission does an air show release? Option number 1, as many as charging 80 million smartphones. Option number 2, as many as 80 million people using their smartphones while pretending to see one of your performances. As many as 18 people using their smartphone to take a selfie with you. Which one do you go for?
I'm definitely going to go for 3.
For free?
C.
That's for C.
C.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not. It's correct. It's not correct. It's the first one. As many as charging 18 million smartphones.
It's the first one.
Yeah.
It's the first one. I just like the idea of all those people taking a selfie.
Yeah, that sounds fun. 18 million people is quite a lot for a selfie. But
Yeah,
all right.
that's
Okay.
quite a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. Yeah. Second question. What is solastalgia? Solastalgia. So the nostalgia for lockdown solitude. B, the feeling of distress associated with climate change impacts close to your home. C, the addiction for solariums developed by people living in the UK.
I think it has to be the second one.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, yeah. It's the less fun. It's the least fun, but it is correct. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. That's really
Yeah.
interesting. That's very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's one of those new terms. Okay, last question. Yeah. So, who said the struggle to save the global environment is in one way much more difficult than the struggle to vanquish Hitler? Yeah. So option number one, A, Vladimir Putin after drinking 2 pints of vodka. B, Winston Churchill, Winston Churchill after the after the Royal Force reported the CO2 emission released during the Battle of Britain, or option three, Al Gore.
I think it's B.
B. That would be fun, but no, unfortunately C, Al Gore is but yeah, honestly, it would have been nice if Winston Churchill was already climate aware at that time.
Yeah, that wouldn't it be, to have climate awareness back then. Yeah, and then maybe we wouldn't have it now.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's true. Too late. Too late. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for participating in the quiz. And that's the end of this Climate for Fun episode. Rachel, thanks you so much for your fun contribution. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
You're welcome. And of course, thanks to whoever tuned in today. The next episode will be in a month as usual. In the meantime, remember to fight climate change one laugh at a time. Ciao.